Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. Acupuncture, Chinese medicine, so amazing. How it can help us feel better from so many challenges, mental, physical, and all of that. Today, we're going to talk about low blood pressure and lots more with our expert on this. She's our professional of the year based in New York City. She practices Chinese medicine, acupuncture. I learn so much every week with Dr. Kelly Liius, who is back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Fantastic. And before we even dig into any of this, I want to read a study that came out today, and it addresses drinking warm beverages and how that's so important in the eyes of Chinese medicine. And we talk about that very often. Literally out today, it says a study at San Diego State University found that as we move into winter, warm drinks might be better for your mental and physical health. Warm stuff was linked to fewer digestive issues, maybe because your body has to work harder to digest stuff that's cold. It takes more energy to warm it up in your stomach. It also says people who drank a lot of hot beverages in the winter tend to have fewer issues with depression and insomnia. Like food, hot beverages like soup had the same effect. So there it is. That's a study that's out. Doesn't even reference Chinese medicine. But I want to ask you, based on what that says, fewer issues with depression, insomnia, certainly winter, seasonal disorders and all of that. What do you think is going on there based on this study and story that's out today with the warm beverages?
That's interesting because I have been talking about warm water, warm food all the time, right? And I also talk to my patients, and a lot of patients, especially if they are Americans or even like not American, but they are young, they kind of like blend into the American culture, drinking ice cold water, ice cold coffee.
Yeah.
Eat salad, ice cream, everything cold. So I explained them in this way. I said, if you don't really understand Chinese medicine or don't believe even in Chinese medicine, but think about in this way. Biology, that is science, right? You believe science. Biology is science. Like our body all have a temperature around 37. That's normal. So the enzyme in our stomach, in our small intestine, all have optimum temperature, which means at a certain temperature, they can function the best. If the temperature below the optimal temperature, their function is not the peak. So in that way, when you eat a big steak, then have a ice cold water or ice cold soda, you basically lower down the enzyme temperature, which means the enzyme not at their peak. So that's why the reason why I always encourage people drink warm beverage. Also eating food, the same thing. Don't eat like salad. If you can cook it, please cook it. Make it warm. Make it not raw.
Mm-hmm. So it's funny. I made a sandwich today, and there is grilled chicken on it, some peppers. What else? Put on a little bit of cheese on a wrap, but there's also lettuce. So when it's time to eat, I'm going to take it out of the tin foil and I'm going to heat it up because the lettuce is cold, and I'm fine with that. Plus the cheese will melt a little bit on that. But I forgot about the lettuce. Like there's many of us. That's an interesting thought. So many of us will eat salad because it's healthier, it's fiber, we'll just leave it at that. And then, add some other things to it. But it's typically cold. And usually when the lettuce is cold, the rest of the salad is usually cold, which isn't the best thing, as we're learning here today. And one final note that I'm getting from this article and what you're saying, we don't realize how much influence on our mental issues that the stomach has. There's a direct connection to the mind. I've even heard that the stomach has a brain, call it that, doesn't, but it's that it sends that type of information, which stands to reason why you want to make sure what you're eating and drinking is warm. Would you agree?
Yes, yes. Actually, a lot of people call our gut is our second brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people, even like young kids, actually, it's happened to a lot of kids.
Yeah.
When they're like under stress, they will have the stomach ache. They cannot go to school. They will say, "Oh, mommy, I have stomach ache. I cannot go to school." Usually, the parents like will think, "Oh, they just fake. They don't really have stomach ache. Actually, they do." I mean, it's not like their organ is wrong or something, but they do have a stomach ache from the stress. So, that's why, the food, the beverage, what we are taking in is very, very important to our health.
Yep.
Like cold, we always talk about cold, slow down things, right? Cold can jail. Like when you compare with ice, with water, right? It's totally different. The ice couldn't move, but water always flowing, right? If the steam is like even like more active. So even the same thing in different form, they have different energy.
Well, I find it's all about a habit. And once you get used to not drinking cold things, I don't crave them. In fact, I was drinking the other day. I like seltzer water. I like a little carbonation. It's got natural flavor, 0 calories. Hydrate, important. And I have the can. The cans are not in the refrigerator. So I took the can without thinking, drank a little bit of it, then put it in the refrigerator, closed the door, went back a few hours later, and I reached for it, and I was like, I hear your voice in my mind. Like, I'm not going to drink that. I'm just going to leave it on the counter and let it get to room temperature. I don't crave it anymore. I'm good with it. It takes a little time, especially water. Warm water, wasn't a fan of it, or just room temperature water. Now I'm good. It's a habit. Create a healthy habit. So how do we say this again? Like the hypertension is one. This is hypotension, correct?
Yes, hypotension, yeah, which basically means low blood pressure.
What could potentially be the cause of that?
Well, nowadays, right, more people have high blood pressure than people who have low blood pressure. But there are some people have low blood pressure. Like these people usually they may also have like light headache. They may have dizziness. They may have like fatigue. Very easily get tired on their face. May kind of like pale. So what can cause this? It can be from like overworking, like some people work so hard can really kind of like just damage their body. Can be from poor nutrition. So they're eating food, but the food doesn't really have enough nutrition. So like a lot of takeout, to be honest, I'm not putting them down, but a lot of food we are eating doesn't really have the nutrition we need. So we are eating, we think, oh, I'm full, I eat food. But you don't really have enough nutrition from the food you're eating. In that way, even you're not hungry, but you don't have enough nutrition, it could give you, low blood pressure.
Wow. So many of us think that, I'm filled up. I'm good. I got what I need to eat. We need to look at what we're eating. That's what it comes down to. Wow. I never even thought of that low blood pressure could be lack of nutrition. Interesting. All right. So let's say it's been identified that we have low blood pressure. Are we talking about changing the diet and then considering acupuncture to bring the pressure back up?
Yes, actually, Western medicine always look at the numbers. Like if people go to a Western doctor, say, oh, I have light headache, I have dizziness, they usually will do blood work, right? They will do a full blood work analyze like the iron, the magnesium, all the numbers. Then they will say, oh, your iron may be low or something. Actually, in Chinese medicine, we don't really look at the blood work. What we do with, we check the tongue, we check the pulse, we ask some questions, right? Usually, if people have low blood pressure, usually their pulse is not strong. That's for sure. It kind of like weak and deep, and their tongue also kind of like pale. These kind of people usually their tongue is kind of like puffy, have the teeth mark, which means like spleen deficiency. So spleen in Chinese medicine in charge of TNT, transformation and transportation, right? Transform the food we are taking in into the qi and blood our body can use. But if our spleen is weak, the spleen just cannot do that even you are eating food. But you cannot really have the enough qi and blood your body can use. Then you may have like a light headache, you may have a tired, you may have the dizziness. So yeah, in that way, if people get low blood pressure from like spleen qi deficiency, we need to tonify the spleen. So when your spleen getting stronger, then you can make enough qi and blood your body use, then you don't really have headache or dizziness anymore.
So let's flip this around for just a moment. And if we may look at high blood pressure, can acupuncture support that?
Yes, actually, I do have people have high blood pressure. But usually, to be honest, usually when people come in, say, Dr. Kelly, I have high blood pressure, but usually also have other problems come along with it, right? For example, one of the pattern of high blood pressure can be like liver qi stagnation or liver yang rising, which means they have a lot of stress. So when people have a lot of stress, their qi cannot really move. It's kind of like make the blood have to work harder to, get into, our extremity, our brain, which like increase the blood pressure, make the blood pressure a little bit too high. So in that way, what we treat is basically release the stress. We calm down the liver. So after the liver calm down, then the blood pressure is normal.
I want to make sure I heard that right. So the blood pressure, high blood pressure, can be directly correlated to issues with the liver?
Yes, you're right.
What about low blood pressure? Would it be the liver as well?
Low blood pressure can be related with the liver also, but in general, more related with like spleen deficiency or kidney yang deficiency. Like usually low blood pressure means you kind of like don't have enough qi and blood. But that could be liver related. But usually liver related more with high blood pressure.
So looking at the high blood pressure, and we'll get back to low in a moment, many different things can contribute to that. Certainly your diet, a lot of sodium in your food, et cetera, et cetera. When somebody comes before you with high blood pressure, they need to take the steps in addition to acupuncture. Just if we don't make any changes and then we just do acupuncture, I'm guessing you're not going to have the same result.
Yes, that's why usually when people come in for whatever, chief complaint, I usually say, for example, that little girl, I mean, not very little, but pretty young, she came in, she already kind of like know what the cause of her problem. She said, Dr. Kelly, I drink a ton of cold stuff when I was, little. I always wear mini skirt, show my knees. I always eat ice cream, everything cold. Now I'm in my 20s, early 20s, but I have bloating gassing, I have like acne, I have so many problems, but I know that's because I ate so much cold stuff and then didn't have enough even clothes to cover myself, keep me warm. So In that way, I will say, okay, so since you already know the cause, right? So please switch to like warm food, warm beverage, and wear enough clothes, to cover your knee. So if you don't make that change, doesn't matter how good I am, I cannot really help you.
So this actually, a lot of this sounds like it's going back to things that, mom said, dress warm when you go out, put on a coat. Like so many kids nowadays, and this has been going on for years, will walk outside in the winter wearing shorts or, a t-shirt. It's 30 degrees out or lower. And I mean, it's kind of the norm a lot of times. Sounds like not good. Like, listen to mom. She was right. So that's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of young girls, like, middle school, high school, they wear something show their belly button. They think, oh, it's sexy, it's beautiful. But I said, you go to no matter where in the summer, if you go to even in the classroom, there AC going on. You get on the bus, there AC on. You show your belly button, the cold right get into you through the belly button. So please wear something, cover your belly button. And even people go to gym, all the girls wear something, just show their belly button, show their like a lower back. On the lower back, there is kidney points. So your per kidney and your belly button all exposed to the cold air. The cold get into you right away. So
Wow.
you don't think there's gonna be a problem later on?
So question based on that, we're talking, it seems like a lot of this here has to do with staying warm, drinking warm beverages. Can you ever be too warm? Can that be a challenge?
Yes, actually, Chinese medicine always talk about the balance. We never say too extreme, right? We like warm, but we don't like hot. Like, for example, in the summer, if it's very hot, we don't suggest you go outside, stay in the sun for many hours. That's not good. You can get the summer heat. Then you're going to have a problem. So it's the same thing like people go to gym, they like to go to sauna. We don't suggest people go to sauna over 15 minutes. If you stay there too long, you're also going to have a problem. So in that way, like you said, is there going to be a problem? It's too hot. Yes. Like, for example, people eat spicy food. Although that hot is not exactly the hot we're talking about, but that's kind of like the same, right? So I don't suggest anybody eat too much spicy food. Maybe once a while, or if you are like kind of like you feel you're getting a cold or something, eat a little bit spicy soup or something is okay, but not all the time. If you eat spicy food every day, you're gonna get internal heat into your stomach. It's not good for you.
Okay, well, that's a great point that even those things, spicy food, like the peppers in my sandwich, that counts as heat. So you're putting heat in. I guess, do you need to counterbalance that? Like, because it's all about balance. I have the lettuce in there. I would imagine that's, call it cold or cool, even though it may be room temperature, it still would come under the cool category, correct?
Yes. So lettuce or any vegetables, if you compare with meat, it's on the colder side. Right? In Chinese medicine, we always have a comparison, which is yin, which is yang, which is hot, which is cold. There's always a comparison. So compare with the meat, all the like fruits, all the vegetables on the colder side. That's why in a balanced meal, you should have some protein like meat, some protein like vegetables. Or if you have if you are vegetarian, you don't eat meat, you can have some eggs, right? You can have some eggs, have some vegetables. In that way, it's balanced. So don't go extreme. I don't suggest anybody go extreme. Oh, I only eat meat. I love steak. Whole big steak. Let's say that's all my meal. That's not good either, because meat is kind of like hot in general, and if you like bake it or whatever way, it's make it very hot.
In my journey, and I like steak. I'm good with it. Maybe once a month, something like that. But I've gotten to the point where I don't order it even as much because it's so heavy. I feel like when I eat it, it's just like, I feel weighed. That was good, but I feel weighed down. So now I gravitate away from that, or I'll have chicken and or a smaller cut of meat, but something, treat myself something nice. There's so much here that many of us don't realize when it comes to Chinese medicine, but it can make such a huge difference. And it's just little adjustments in what we do and what we eat. And here's research out today that, I just read, doesn't even mention Chinese medicine, maybe based on that for sure. Either way, that's another study that talks about having foods that are warmer, beverages that are warmer, everything that we've been talking about. When it comes to low blood pressure, anything else that we should know, Dr. Kelly?
Yes. If you go to your medicine doctor, if you have low blood pressure, let me give you some medicine, to increase the blood pressure or something. But in Chinese medicine, you can use acupuncture. We can also use herbs. Herbal formula is kind of like more safe because all natural. So we can, for example, if you have qin blood deficiency, we can use the formula to increase to tonify you, give you more qi blood. In that way, you will feel better pretty soon. Of course, right? If the cause is from poor nutrition, you may need to consider changing your diet to have a little bit better quality of food. And if it is from like working too hard, you maybe need to take a break, slow down a little bit. So it depends on each individual, the cause. So, but acupuncture, herbal formula, plus lifestyle change, I'm sure you will feel better.
Terrific. You're available virtually to consult on Chinese medicine. Obviously, New York City, we need to be for acupuncture. Share your website again with us, Dr. Kelly.
www.kelly121acupuncture.com.
Thank you for all your insight. I learned more and more. And, that study that I read, I wasn't looking for it. It just showed up. San Diego State University, it's all right there. And not that I needed a study. I've been drinking warmer beverages ever since we met, and I appreciate that. Thank you for all the information, Dr. Kelly. I'm looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you, Steve.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.